Right guys, well this is my first video on the channel. It's going to be a pretty football based channel, talking about Man United, the team that I support. And yeah, and to get into it, I'm going to do a whole breakdown on the entire Man United squad and who I think should stay and who I think should go in the summer. So starting off in goal, David De Gea. I love this man. I've loved this man for years. He's done so well. Most appearances in goal, most clean sheets I think now in goal for Man United as well. He's just been a revelation the past few years. He's done so well, saved us so many times, like 2017-18, the Golden Glove. He got 14 saves in one game against Arsenal, which was crazy. I remember 11 saves against Spurs a couple of years ago as well when Ollie was in charge. But recently, past couple of years, he's just not it anymore. He can't. I think his kicking's not good enough, and for a system that Ten Hag wants to play, I don't think he's going to be able to fit into it. I think he does need to be moved on. I see all this like coming out of the club, like contract offers, and then Ten Hag said that he was going to stay, and then we're getting leaks from the club saying that he might not, that he might be leaving. It's all a bit of a mess, but I think realistically, David De Gea is probably time for him to go. Right, next we got Tom Heaton, another goalkeeper. I don't think I've seen him play. He played a bit in pre-season. I guess he brings a little bit of experience to the younger ones at the top, but he's never going to start for Man United. If he went, I wouldn't care. If he stayed, I don't think I'd really care either. So realistically, he can go if he wants. Yeah, it's as simple as that, really. I don't know too much about him. He was all right at Villa, but there's no need for him, really, is there? We just get a new goalkeeper in the summer, and then he can either sit on the bench and stay and pick up some money if he wants, or let him go. Right, next, Dean Henderson. I don't like this guy. I've not liked him for a few years. I think he's a good goalkeeper. I don't like him. I thought when De Gea was much better than him, he was getting a little bit too cocky and getting a bit too big for his boots. I think he's a good goalkeeper. He was never getting past De Gea when De Gea was playing well. But yeah, he's been going out on loan the past couple of years. He could go out on loan again, but I'd just cash in on him. And yeah, he's still young. He's got a bit of potential with him. Maybe someone will spend about 30 mil for him. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit optimistic there. But 30 million for him would be a good deal, and he can go off and do his career somewhere else. And then finally, for the goalkeeper department, we got Jack Butland. He's similar to Tom Heaton. Again, he's not really... He's not going to play for Man United. He'll just sit on the bench. He's, again, a little bit more experience. He did pretty well at Stoke. So he was at Palace for a bit as well. So he can go if he wants. He can stay if he wants. It doesn't make a difference. He's not going to start. He's just going to be a cup goalkeeper at most. So, from my opinion, I'd say leave. Right, now we go into the defenders department. A lot of iffy ones here, ones that I want to stay, ones that maybe should go. Who knows? But first of all, we're going to start off with Victor Lindelof. I think they should stay. I think when he's come in after Varane and Martinez have just both been injured, he's done pretty well. He scored that penalty semi-final, did very well there. He's the Iceman, isn't he? I think he'd do a good job as a third choice centre back. He's much better than Harry Maguire. I would personally keep Victor Lindelof. Then moving on, Eric Bailly. I really liked this guy when he first came in. I thought he was a great centre back. He looked so composed at the back. Bit of an African warrior. He's a good centre back, but he's just too injury prone, and it just didn't work out for him. He went out on loan to Marseille last year. Don't think he played enough games to warrant the buy clause. So personally, I think we're going to have to sell him. I loved him when he first came in, but it's just too injury prone to play for Man United, and it's just not going to work out for him. Next, we've got Phil Jones. I mean, it's pretty obvious what we want to do with him. He's got to go. He just sits on the reserves, collecting money, collecting a lot of money. I think it's like 375k, or maybe I'm exaggerating, a week. That's crazy for someone who just sits on the reserves and is always injured. But he's 100% got to go. He put in a shift. He's tried his best. It's just he's not a good footballer, is he? So, yeah, he's got to go. And now we move on to Harry Maguire. Get out my club. You're shit. You're a terrible defender. I cannot believe we spent 80 million on this man. I've had arguments with people saying, he's good for England. Why can't he be good for Man United? He's good for England because Gareth Southgate sets up with an extremely defensive lineup, 2 CDMs, then 5 at the back. Obviously, anyone would look good in that defensive system because there's so many people covering for him. He can't do it. He can't do it in the big teams. He's never going to do it in the big teams. He's got to go. I don't know how much money we're going to be able to get for him, but he has got to leave. I wish him the best of luck in his future. I think maybe some fans have been a bit harsh on him, but realistically, he's just not good enough, is he? He's cost us so many times. Own goals, just defensive mistakes. He just looks so shaky at the back all the time. It's just not going to work out. I remember after his first game against Chelsea, when Ollie bought him, he looked so good in that first game. And then ever since then, he's just not it really, is he? So yeah, he's 100% got to go. I think there's no debate there. If anyone wants to disagree, they can drop it in the comments, but he got to go. And next we move on to Lisandro Martinez. He's our best centre-back. Maybe joint with Varane or something, but he's our best centre-back. He's so good. Everyone was doubting him at the beginning of the season. I remember Jamie Carragher, he's too small, he's not going to be able to cut it in the Prem. There's no way a 5'9" centre-back will be able to do it. And how he proved them all wrong. He's been one of the best centre-backs in the league this season. He is absolutely amazing. It's a shame he got injured against Sevilla because I feel like we'd be playing a bit better with him at the back. We'd be way more calmer. But he's just such a good player. He's definitely not leaving. Give him a 10-year, 15-year contract. He's just so good. I love him so much. I love him to bits. And yeah, he's got to stay. And next we move on to Tyrell Malacia. Good player. Looks a bit shaky sometimes. Loves to put a challenge in. Bit small. But I think he's a good player. I think he should go out on loan though. I think he needs maybe a bit more game time. I know he's played quite a lot this season, but he needs to, I think, like starting left back, starting every game at another team. I think that would be more beneficial for him than sitting behind Luke Shaw a number of the time. But yeah, I think Tyrell Malacia is a great player. There's the player in him. He's a feisty little player. There's a player in him. But yeah, send him out on loan, give him a little bit of experience, and I reckon he will perform much better. Yeah. And then we move on to another amazing centre-back, Rafa Varane. Absolutely amazing centre-back. World Cup winner. Don't know how many Champions... I think it's 5 Champions Leagues he's won, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a lot of Champions Leagues nonetheless. He's just a great centre-back. He does get injured a little bit sometimes, but he is a great centre-back. Him partnered with Martinez at the back is just perfect. It's just, you couldn't ask for a better centre-back partnership in my opinion. But yeah, he's 100% got to stay. Maybe he's not got too many years left in him, but with those years that he's got left in him, he's got to stay at United. Stay at the rock of defence. Him and Martinez, they can be the centre-back pairing. And yeah, hopefully a few more major trophies to come. You never know. But yeah, keep Varane. And next we have Diogo Dalot. 100% keep. I've seen interest in Frimpong. Personally, I mean, if we're going to get rid of a right back, it would be him. But personally, because he can play at left back as well, I don't see the point in getting rid of him. He's still young. He can play right back. He can play left back. He's versatile. He could do a job. I reckon, 100% keep Diogo Dalot. I think he's mightily improved this season. He's slightly dropped off a bit after the World Cup. But during the World Cup, he was keeping Cancelo out of the squad. He was our best performing right back by far in the first half of the season. Yeah, he's definitely got to stay. And because he can play both full-backs, why not, really, is there? And then we move on to Luke Shaw, who, amazing he's been so good recently, past couple of years. He can play centre-back as well. Looks better than Harry Maguire at centre-back, but Luke Shaw's definitely got to stay. I think he's got a future ahead of him at United still. He signed a new contract recently, so he won't be going anywhere anyway. But he's a great left-back. He can also play centre-back. He's 100% got to stay. And yeah, keep Luke Shaw. Now we move on to Alex Telles. yeah, just leave realistically. We've got 2 left backs who are fine. Diogo Dalot can also play left back, so Alex Telles can go. I don't really like, well, we lost to Sevilla, didn't we, when he was playing, so it just makes me not like him really and even more. He scored a great goal in the Champions League last year. I think it was Atalanta or something like that, or maybe Villarreal, one of the two. But yeah, it's not going to work out for him. We'll let him go. Yeah. Right, next we got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's been very, very good ever since the World Cup. I think he's really improved his game. He looked really poor, like it was all going wrong for him. He had to leave. He was barely playing at the beginning of the season, not fit at all. Then came in after Dalot came back from the World Cup pretty late and put in a great shift. I think it was only Burnley in the cup, but got an assist, and ever since then he's just looked so solid at the back, especially in that cup final against Newcastle. He was incredible. I think he put in like a record amount of tackles in just one half in the final, which is amazing. Yeah, he's got to stay. I think he's our starting right back person. I see him getting better at dribbling recently as well. People may argue, people may differ, but recently, of what I've seen from him, he's improving his dribbling, which is what he really needed to improve. Defending is already 10 out of 10, but yeah, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 100% stay. And to wrap up the defending department, we've got 4 defenders, which we got Brandon Williams, Twanzebe, Mengi, and Alvaro Fernandez. I just loan all 4 of them out, to be honest. They're not going to play right now, so just loan them out. Simple as that. Now we go on to midfielders. This could be interesting. So we'll start off with the captain, Bruno Fernandes. Absolutely amazing player. Way overhated by the media. If he was English, everyone would love him. But because, I can't delve into too deep into the English bias. But if he was English, everyone would love him. I think he's an amazing player. Everyone complains that he whines too much. I understand it. But personally, in my opinion, it shows he cares more. He wants to win. He has the winning mentality. If things aren't going his way, he will get pissed off. And that's why he whines and stuff like that. He's such a good player. His passing's, it's second to none. He definitely got to stay. And yeah, brilliant player. Now, Christian Eriksen, got to stay. Great season so far. Obviously, he's come back so well from the horrific injury or accident in the World Cup. So, yeah, I think Christian Eriksen's definitely got to stay. He probably can't play a full 90 minutes every single game, so we might need someone to sit in there just in case he can't play it. But he's really good. It's like when him, Bruno, and Casemiro have played this season, I think just the West Ham game the weekend's the only one we've lost when all 3 of them are playing at the same time. So, I think Christian Eriksen definitely stays. Then we move on to Marcel Sabitzer. Very good player. Definitely get him. We've got him on loan right now, but I say make it permanent. We can get him for pretty cheap. Trying his best. He's doing very well. I think he's a good player. Slotting in for when Eriksen can't play. He slotted in for when Bruno couldn't play, when he's suspended. I remember he scored 2 against Sevilla. I was at the game. And yeah, he's a good player. Must keep, especially for the price that we can get him for. Alright, then we move on to Amad Diallo, who's had an absolutely magnificent season in Sunderland. He's got so many goal contributions. I reckon he can push for a first team place next season. I think he's a great player. Yeah, he's got to stay, and I think he's only going to get better, and he's already tearing up the Championship. Sunderland could still get promoted. He got in playoffs on the final day, which is amazing. I think it's like 13 goals or something like that. 4 or 5 assists. I don't know exactly. He's doing very well, and yeah, he's definitely got to stay. Right, Fred. This is a difficult one because Fred's very hit and miss. There's games where he's done really well when he's come off the bench. He scored a few more goals this season. But there's games like against Brighton last week when he came on, he looked really shaky and he just looked vulnerable in that midfield, which is not what you want from a midfielder. I don't really know. I feel like he should stay because he can offer something. He's a bit of depth off the bench. He's never going to be a starter, but I think, yeah, he should stay to sit on the bench. Then we have the best CDM in the world, Casemiro. No debate, don't care. No, Rodri is not better. Partey is not better. Casemiro is the best CDM in the world and arguably one of the best CDMs of all time. you can argue with me all you want, but Casemiro has definitely proved a few of his haters wrong as well this season. Graham Souness at the beginning of the season, he's not going to be, he's just going to be a steady Eddie, I think that's what he said. But no, Casemiro has proved everyone wrong. He's looked a bit shaky recently, but he came back against Aston Villa and he was really, really good. Great CDM, 100% got to stay. He's got a trophy cabinet in it as well. He's got that winning mentality. 100% got to stay. Then we got Facundo Palestri. I say keep, but loan him out because he's a good player. He's shown, I remember he came off against Betis. Very good assist for Weghorst. Or no, he didn't get the assist. McTominay missed and then it went back to Weghorst, but he basically set up the goal. But he was really good when he came on. I think he offers something. I think he's got to go out on loan, maybe perfect his game a little bit more, and then maybe he can come back and push for a first team space. But yeah, 100% we'll definitely keep him. And then we move on to Donny van de Beek. It's a shame really about him. Unfortunately, he's going to have to leave. I thought when Ten Hag came in, he would maybe make him play a bit better, because obviously they have the Ajax relationship before. It's just not really worked out for him. He's been practically injured all season this year, so I can't really comment on his performances. Past couple of years, he's just barely played. He's not looked great. I don't think he can stay at the club. I think he's got to go. And if he wants to get his career back on track, he's got to leave. Man United's not the place for him. Then Scott McTominay, absolutely terrible. He's got to go. He cannot control a midfield. He's awful. He's one of the worst midfielders in the league, and I'm not even lying. I cannot believe that we got like top 6 last year with him and Fred in the midfield. He's awful. Always thought he's awful. I feel like he's a better striker than he is actually a midfielder. But nah, he's got to go. I don't rate him at all. He's a bit of just a passion merchant, that's it. So yeah, get him gone and get someone else to replace him. And then to finish off the midfielders, we've got 3 youngsters, Hannibal, Iqbal and Kobbie Mainoo, all great players. Maybe keep them in the under-21s for another season, or maybe loan them out to, I don't know, like Championship or something like that, like we did with Diallo and Alvaro Fernandez. Yeah, loan them out or keep them in the under-21s for another season, and then maybe they can push for a first team place. All right, now we go into the forwards, and there's some ones that it's difficult to debate these. We're going to start off with Anthony Martial. I've loved this man for so many years. He's been my favourite player. It's a bit of a weird one, him being my favourite player. He's always injured. I think when he does play, he's really, really good. His link-up play is amazing. His hold-up play is amazing. I think his pressing's good as well. Just can't finish, really, can he? I love him so much. I don't want him to leave, but I think maybe it might be the best thing. Or maybe keep him and play him at left wing. I don't know, though. I don't think he'd be too bad to keep in the cup competitions. Depends what he wants, really. I think he's an amazing player. I think he's a bit of an underrated player. He just can't keep fit, and that's his problem. But I'm going to say keep just because I love him, but I can understand why you want to get rid of him. Then on to number 10, Marcus Rashford. Really, really improved this season. Dropped off a little bit recently, but I think everyone just saying stuff like these stats and stuff like that, it means nothing. He's had an amazing season, like one of the most goal contributions in the world altogether. So he's had an amazing season, really saved it from last year when everyone was saying that he should leave, move on, and stuff like that. And there was links to Arsenal and stuff like that. That would have been horrific. But yeah, Marcus Rashford has really made that left wing his space now, and he's definitely got to stay, and he's got a bright future ahead of him at Man United. All right, next we got Anthony. I think he's overhated. I think he's a good player. I've been to watch United a few times this season, and I think he's been very good every single time I've watched him. He's not the finished product yet, which I think people seem to forget. Because obviously the price tag determines what people think about you. But I think he's a good right winger. He's got to work on his shooting. He does tend to hit it over the bar quite a lot. But I think he's a good player. And I think he's got to stay. He's got a future ahead of him. Ten Hag likes him. He's good for the system. Which is, yeah, that's important. He's good for holding up the play. I think he's a good for Ten Hag's system, and yeah, he's got to stay. All right, now we move on to Jadon Sancho, which is a bit of a difficult one because, it's an interesting one. Him at Dortmund, he was amazing, but a lot of these Bundesliga players come over here into the Prem and they kind of fail, apart from Haaland, but he's just different. But Sancho, I think I think I see a player in him. I think he's still good. I think we keep him. But I think it depends on how Ahmad does next season. I think if Ahmad starts to get into that first team, I think Sancho's a bit in trouble, to be honest, because Ahmad looks so good this year. So I'd love to keep Sancho, but I can also understand if he wanted to leave as well. Then we go on to Wout Weghorst. He was a bit of a meme at the beginning. I liked him. He shows a lot of passion, but I don't know whether that's just because he wants a contract or not. But he's got to go. He's not very good, is he? He's like 2 goals or something like that. He's just not very good. He's not good. He's never going to be a good. He's not a Man United player. There we go. I spell it out now. He's not a Man United player. Yeah, I think he's got to go. Just when the loan ends, just don't sign him permanently. It's as simple as that. Realistically, he'll try his hardest to get a contract because obviously he loves the club, and I like that about him. I love that he loves the club, but he's just not a good footballer. And we go into a few of the youngsters. We got Anthony Alanga, loan, simple as that. Decent player, not world beating. Send him out on loan, see how he does. We move from there. Then Shola Shoretir, again, loan him out, see how he does. Yeah, could push for the first team place in the future. You don't know how these players are going to perform. Loan him out, see how he does. And then finally, Alejandro Garnacho, definitely got to stay. I think he's amazing. Yeah, lovely youth prospect. Done really well this season. Broken into the first team. Goals against West Ham in the quarterfinals of the FA. Is it quarters or maybe round 5 of the FA Cup? I can't remember. He's done very well. Scored some goals. When I went to the game against Villa in the Carabao Cup, he came on the pitch and he was amazing. Whipped in 2 brilliant balls and got the 2 assists in that game. And he also got an assist in the game against... Well, I don't know whether he got an assist, but there was a game against Palace that I went to, and he did really well to set up a goal for Rashford, I think. But yeah, Garnacho stays. Bright future ahead of him. Yeah. That about wraps up the team, the squad this year. There's a few that should stay, a few that should go. I don't know whether I'm being too nice or whether I'm being too ruthless. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But that's who I think should stay, who I think should go, and who I think should go on loan this season, next season, sorry. But yeah, there's a few signings that we need to make. I'll make a video on the signings that we need to make to replace these players. There's a few that I've got in mind. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. My TikTok and my Instagram will be in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown of the Man United team. Have a good one.